Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Liverbird TV. So today, Liverpool are back in action against no other than Manchester City, and we all know how much we hate them. It'll be great to get our third win in a row against City. So really looking forward to tonight's match, League Cup match. As always, leading up to games like this, you'll get the fans that will say that it's not important, it's only the League Cup, and then you'll get the fans that are, sat at the parade last season, with Liverpool going through the streets of the city with the League Cup and the FA Cup. To me, those that have been on my groups, including Doubters to Believers that I was running for 2 years, know how I've always fought, and that is that Liverpool are here to win trophies, every single trophy that is put before us. So it goes without saying that I'm really up for tonight. And to be honest with you, I'm a fan that's been to Wembley 3 times. 2 of those were against Man City, and 2 of those, in fact I lost all 3, but 2 of those were against Man City. And even though it was in the Community Shield, one of them, it still hurt. It hurt because it's everything we despise about football clubs like Man City. Now, going into my debate about the ownership, thing where I said I don't want Liverpool to sell to Saudi and Middle Eastern money, is because it stems from my hatred of clubs like Manchester City. Now, I can't sit here for the last 5, 6, 7 years slating every single thing about Manchester City and then wanting Liverpool to be just like them. It's not for me. It never has been and never will be. I don't think Liverpool need to be. Just been listening to Pep Lijnders doing the press conference, which he usually does for League Cup matches, so there's no surprise there. And he says the same what he says every single window, the same as Klopp. Liverpool do not panic in the transfer market. I always say this, Klopp has a list of targets, and if he has to wait a window or 2 to get them players, then he'll do it. He's just always been like that. He likes a small squad, he likes to work with a squad that he can trust, and he doesn't want to bring in too many players. I mean, look at Nottingham Forest, for example. I mean, they're on about signing 2 or 3 or 4 again in January. You can't have a team sort of chemistry if your squad's too big. Now, I'm not saying we don't need somebody, because we do, especially in the centre of midfield, but Arthur Melo's now fit. Now, touch wood on this one, because the lad's played for Barcelona and Juventus. Now, you don't play for them if you're a poor player. I mean, he's gone for quite a lot of money in transfer fees as well. So, I'd like to see him, to be honest with you. I really would. And if you look at our midfield, you've got Thiago's fit, Fabinho's fit, Oxlade-Chamberlain's fit. I'd love to say Keita's fit, but he's never been fit. But he's fit as we speak. You've got Harvey Elliott. You've got Henderson. So we're now back to having 6 centre midfielders. Curtis Jones 7. So you've got to look at it like this. Now, yeah, it would be nice to bring in a player in January. It's Casado or someone like that, or even Amrabat. But if you were given the choice now, I'd like to ask you this question now, that if you was going to get Fernandes or Bellingham or Amrabat, yeah, and you were said you can have this player, but we're not going to sell him in the January window, then would you wait till the summer? Yeah. Look at it like this. Liverpool have got some great kids coming through. You've got Stefan Bajcetic, you've got Ben Doak, you've got, I've just said 7 central midfielders there. What is the point in this, just going out and just signing someone just for the sake of it, to appease fans? FSG won't do that. Klopp won't do that. And Pep Lijnders won't do that. Pep Lijnders has just hit the nail completely on the head. We are always waiting for our targets to be available, and if they become available, we are prepared and ready to go and make the move. So that's telling me what it's always told me, which is Liverpool are structured and class and don't get much wrong in the transfer market. If you go through all of the signings that FSG have made, you'll struggle to get one hand of players that have been shite. You really will. You'll probably just make your 5. But the rest of them, they've turned, as Klopp has, players from decent, good, to world class, and that is the plan, and that is the way they've always been. So hi John, mate. So what I'm saying to you is it goes without saying that, and you go on Twitter now, it's always the same. It's trending FSG out. It does me head in, and it does me head in because these people don't care about who Liverpool sell to, and then they start saying, well, we've got Yank owners. So these American owners have changed Liverpool forever. They have left a legacy at Liverpool. These Klopp years will be spoken about for eternity, right? Whether you like it or not, FSG brought us Klopp. FSG convinced Klopp to become Liverpool manager, right? Not the Glazers, not the Cronkies, the Henrys, or the Henry, John Henry, right? He convinced him. So that is a major, major, major signing. Probably the biggest signing in Liverpool's history was Jurgen Klopp, right? So then you counteract that with the fact that when they took over Liverpool, Anfield was old, small, and very, very backdated. They are now going to leave, if they do leave, Anfield as a belter of a football stadium, an incredible 61,000 seater stadium, and one of the best stadiums on the planet in terms of keeping the history. They could have been owners that didn't care about what Liverpool fans thought about Anfield, and they could have just completely thought, stuff it, let's just do what Everton have done and go and build a Bramley Moore Docks stadium. No, they understood the values of, like they did with Fenway, you know, with the Boston Red Sox. You know, Fenway was a traditional home just like Anfield. So they kept it and rebuilt it and made it a still iconic stadium. So Man City are a fabricated football club. So basically what they are is a football club that have only become big because of the power of oil money. Liverpool have gigantus status in the world of football without that. We don't need Middle Eastern money, right? We have proven that we don't have to go and spend 80 million on Harry Maguire, because we can go and get Joel Matip on a Bosman, who's better than Harry Maguire. Or we can go and get Ibrahima Konate, probably the best young centre back in the world. We can go and get him for 30 million, 50 million less than what Manchester United paid for Maguire. I like that. Why do you want Liverpool to go out and spend 100 million, then 120 million, 100? I mean, look at Everton, for example. Everton have spent £500 million on players and find themselves in a relegation battle every season, right? So is that better owners? Would you? I would be surprised if those that are saying FSG out actually think that Mashiri's a better owner than obviously John Henry and FSG. I mean, that's the bit that gets my back up. But at the end of the day, you're entitled, as a Liverpool fan, to go FSG out, FSG sort it out, or FSG in. That's your entitlement. I've got no problem with that. The only thing I've got a problem with is when people start saying that they're disgraceful owners, they're crap, they're stingy. No, they operate Liverpool as a world-class business. They don't overspend. They protect, you know, all of their players. I mean, the amount of times Liverpool lost key players over the years, you know, losing them to Real Madrid's and Barcelona's, because we could never keep our star players. FSG have constantly re-signed our top players, you know, contracts. And even when you said, oh, if they don't sign Salah, we want them out. So they got Salah signed on a new deal, and then you moaned that they sold Marnie. I mean, what do you want? Do you want the best of both worlds, or do you just want everything put on a plate for you? It's not going to work out like that. In business, you have to make tough decisions, right? And the fact is the only clubs that don't have to, like Klopp said the other week, are Newcastle, PSG and Man City, because they have no ceilings. And that is true. But what annoys me is Klopp has never once sounded out the owners as being bad owners. He understands. So do I. Yes, I would be buzzing now if Jude Bellingham just came in today for 150 million. But the fact is, if it's going to risk the football club I love diving in too much, then if you ask me a question now, right, Neil, you won't get Bellingham for 150 million. But you know what? You could get Amrabat for 28, 30 million, right? You get Amrabat and you could get Fernandes, or you could get Nico Barella. you could get 3 players for what you're going to pay for Bellingham. I'd actually take the other up. Yeah, Bellingham's great. He's a poster boy. He's young. He's 19. It'd be great, and it would be great. But if you ask me now, Amrabat, Fernandes, the Argentine player, and possibly a third player for the price of what we'd actually pay for Bellingham, then I'd go for quantity rather than just one player. Because say, for example, we go and spend our whole budget on Bellingham, 150 million, yeah, and he gets injured, he's out for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. How good's that going to be for us? So you've got to look at it. It's a very, very risky strategy. People say, well, he's only 19. He could get an ACL. He could break his leg. You don't know, and it's a risky transfer. So what FSG do is they take away the risk. They go and get players like Harvey Elliott and Ben Doak for £500,000, and then they turn them into world beaters. But the good thing is if they don't become world beaters, then the fee they have paid is minimal. But if you then spend 150 million of the club's money and don't get it right, just like Grealish, 100 million, he sits on the bench of Man City. But he sits on the bench of Man City because they have no ceiling. Liverpool cannot afford to pay £100 million for players to sit on the bench. So this is my point. You have to start becoming more educated with the way you speak about the club. The club is not oil owned, or it isn't owned by somebody that is completely off the ceiling in wealth. Now, I quite like that. Because when we play Manchester City later on today, it literally is class versus plastic, in my opinion, right? Fabricated, ridiculous wages. They keep going on about paying less for Erling Haaland than we did for Nunes. Bonkers. The signing on fee and the fee they pay to the agent and the dad outdoes Nunes' fee, and never mind the money he's on each week. So it just gets my back up, that does. But what I'm saying is Manchester City and Liverpool is now become a big rivalry, and tonight is going to be a game where I would definitely put us to win it, because I just think the excuses are coming out already. They're saying that they haven't got a squad, which is absolutely fucking borderline ridiculous, because he's got 3 teams. I mean, half of the reason why they've won this League Cup so many times is because he could play, a team that hadn't played, he could play a Premier League side that would probably finish in the top 6 as his B team. So he talks shite, Pep Guardiola, and he always has done. But tonight, it is important because Liverpool need to keep winning trophies, because it just keeps that fabric, keeps that history, keeps that growth going. And who wants to be like Everton, haven't won a trophy since 1995? Who wants to be like Manchester United, now 6 years and counting without a trophy? Who wants to be like Tottenham? This creeps in. If fans get their voice that don't want us to win League Cups and FA Cups, right, then we become Everton and Manchester United, where we're just completely not winning anything. So I'm really looking forward to tonight's game. The ownership issue will deal with itself. I'll make my decision in the future. If I'm being honest with you here, if the ownership doesn't sit right with me, then I'll walk. I will walk, because I worked for AFC Liverpool for 4 years, and that club was set up in 2008 by 1,000 Liverpool fans, and they called the club Affordable Football Club Liverpool. And I need to put this into context of the way I think. I am a football fan first. A Liverpool fan is my club, but I'm a football fanatic. I love the game. And every single Premier League club, if they sell their soul to the Saudis or to Dubai or to Qatar or whatever, any Middle East company, they're selling their soul. And the more clubs that follow that, the less football is going to benefit from it, because it's just going to become a real life football manager where these teams are winning everything. And the FA Cup, I'm a romantic. I love the stories of little villages getting to the first round of the FA Cup, like Marine did, stuff like that. I love stories like that. But every time one of our football clubs sells its soul to foreign investment, all right, America's still foreign investment, but you know what I mean. People that not really got any interest in football, but never mind sport. These are just people that have got so much money, they just want something to talk around the dinner table with. Oh, I own these, I own them. I tell you what, let's just pump fucking £1 billion into this club, just so we can sit round, a bit like that Salt Bay lifting the World Cup with the Argentines. That's what money is. That's what money does to people, and I don't want that. We're a working class football club, Liverpool are. Working class. We go back from Shankly. It's a socialist city, Liverpool is. It just doesn't sit right for me. Manchester City's ownership being the same as Liverpool's. We don't need it. We don't need lads sat up there in white gowns with rings around their heads. We don't need it. We are Liverpool. We are one of the biggest football clubs in the world. If the FSG want to sell a part of the company and keep part owned, I'd prefer that. Or even if they want to sell to somebody, like, see this Todd Bowley came in, alright, he's a bit crazy, but these Americans, they know how to run football clubs properly, right? Know how to make money, and everyone's just slating off the Arsenal owners. Now they've gone out and spent 250 million at the top of the league, and all of a sudden the owners are great again. Football fans are fickle, but what I do is I look at the facts. During FSG's tenure at Liverpool, I have seen Liverpool win every trophy put in front of them. They've won it, right? They've also nearly won the league 3 times. They've won it once, but only lost on 1 point twice. They've almost nearly done the quadruple. They've been in 3 Champions League finals and a Europa League final. They've played probably the best football in my entire history of watching Liverpool under Klopp. They've brought Jurgen Klopp in. The stadium's iconic. It's became amazing. I can't slag people off like that because it's probably been the best years I've ever seen as a Liverpool supporter. Do I want anything more? No. I like the story of David v Goliath. I like the story of us having to fight against Saudi money and Middle Eastern money. I like that because it shows that Liverpool have got a greater gift. The power of Anfield, the power of the fans, the power of, we do it our way. You telling me that all these clubs that are spending all this money ain't sitting here going, oh, I want to know why Liverpool can do it like that. Why can Liverpool get Andrew Robertson for 8 million and we're spending 40, 60 million on Cucurella? Why can Liverpool get James Milner and Matip on Bosmans while we're paying 80 million for Harry Maguire and 50 million for Bissaka? Why can Liverpool get Sadio Mane, Mo Salah and Roberto Firmino for the price we paid for Grealish? So if you're an FSG outer, are wanting us to change the ownership that actually want us to be like Liverpool. Well, they want to be like Liverpool. They don't want to be spending 500 million. They'd rather spend 100 million. But they're spending 500 million to try and get it right. Liverpool get it right. So we don't need to spend 2, 3, 4, 500 million. I mean, Ben Doak, for example, this kid costs 600 grand. The way he looks at the moment, I said this the other day, he's probably going to be worth 100 million by the age of 20. If he can keep up what he does, right, where he's what Klopp described as a natural force, right, if he can skin people the way he's skinning at the elite level, you're talking about one of the most exciting wingers here in the world, right? We got him for what Erling Haaland gets in a week, wages-wise. Less than what Haaland gets in a week, wages-wise. Harvey Elliott, how much do you think that boy's going to be worth? If we sold him now, how much do you think we'd get for him? That is what I'm saying. We don't need to spend the money that they would have to pay to take our players off them because we've already got them. We bought them early, we bought them young, and we bought them fresh. So if my opinion is Liverpool need to, if they want to invest into the playing squad, all right, sell half the company at FSG. Bring somebody in that's going to pump in more money. You keep the ownership of the club because your heart's in the right place. And I think that Anfield will carry on being expanded and it will just get better and better. That's, in my opinion, my gut feeling, the way we need to go for the ownership. If you want Saudi money and you want oil money, guess what you are? You're a glory hunter that cannot take Liverpool not being a real life game of Football Manager where we just go yes, let's take him. It will become boring. If Liverpool have a bottomless pit and can buy everyone on the planet, guess who will be? Will be the new Man City. And every trophy we win and every time we beat somebody, it'll be it's just because you've got oil money. Don't want that labelled out there. I want us to piss off the whole nation like we always do, be the most hated team in the league because we are Liverpool.